Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Libra. And if Libra is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. Okay. So we have the 10 of Cups, and this has everything to do with, and I never pronounce the word right, so I'm gonna go ahead and say fulfillment. I always say satiety, and my husband said, that's not the right way to say it. I'm like, well, you're married to me, so you know. I never pronounce anything correctly. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at what these tea leaves have to say. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. And hello, T, once again. Hi, mamas. Okay, let's take a look. Look at this. It looks like we have an adult, maybe a mom archetype here. Holding on to, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to cover up TT. And we have a child right here, and holding the hand and kind of almost, I feel like walking somewhere. I feel like this is kind of the stance that you would take if you have a toddler in the parking lot and they're trying to pull away from you. So I have that, and then we have a person over here who looks like they're kicking up, and this is in that kind of metaphysical zone. It looks like almost like, imagine doing some kind of martial arts. Okay, so I do feel like there is a sense of really kind of maybe vacillating between, you know, really kind of a very devoted and orderly and, you know, like in martial arts, you have to be, you know, very kind of, you have to be very, very focused and I'm sorry, I'm just, I'm trying to focus here. I was just, and I don't want to get into like news stuff, but I was just watching the news and, seeing about, you know, I don't know, there's just stuff going on in the world and it puts me in a place of fear. And I don't like to be somebody who like, you know, puts that energy out there to fear anything, but you know, all I keep saying to myself is like, I just pray for this world, and I pray, and all of its children, you know, you and I, and every other being, every other soul on this earth, and you know, I don't know. I think that, and then we had a thunderstorm just roll through, and and it just has me on edge a little bit. So I'm sorry, but we'll get back to the reading here. And so there is, you know, a sense of, on one side, being very focused on this very devoted art that you have, whatever it is. If it's your work, if it's your family, your creativity, you know, working on self, spirit, just very, very focused on this idea of mastering something in your life. Okay, working towards that. Now, on the other hand, I have this kind of almost oppositional, you know, maybe at times really kind of in your feelings about, you know, whatever it is in your life. But I kind of almost, it's like feeling like maybe overworked or being asked to do things that you don't want to do. You know, having to put aside your passions, your, the thing, whatever, your enjoyments, your loves, so that you can focus on, you know, things like working, making money, family, upkeeping the home, you know, chores and so on. So, and even things more serious, maybe, I don't know, but you know, health is a big one. You could, every time anything comes up in my life that, you know, I have I have mental health issues, and you know, if I have like a PTSD flare up, if I have things that are going on with that, you know, I feel, at times, if it's logical or not, usually not, but, like I feel, you know, like it's, like this is being done to me. This is, you know, it's unfair. I could be feeling better and doing other things, you know, and that's all part of it, right? And so I feel like there's this sense of, you know, kind of really just maybe a little bit of agitation and you know, kind of having the adult version of like a little self tantrum, you know, maybe not with other people, but, you know, with self. And so I see this mother figure, and this really is that kind of balancing energy. And I feel that there's a sense of really having to mother yourself through this, right? Being extra empathetic, being, really loving and understanding with yourself. It's easy to, you know, really kind of come down on ourselves when we're feeling like, okay, why can't I just stay in my motivation? Like, why can't I just, you know, do this thing and do it well? And, you know, other people around me, I see they're doing, you know, all kinds of stuff and they're good at it and they make it look easy. Why can't I do that? You know, and also just having this like, I quit attitude. I just am done. It's not going my way, so I'm done. But that mother figure comes in and listens and, you know, tries to meet the needs and figure what can we do? Let's look at this more objectively, right? Let's look at this from a further perspective, right? Let's kind of, well, yes, I guess objectively was the right word. Let's not, you know, get too into our thinking about this, but look at the facts. How can we figure out, you know, a new way of doing this, or maybe a new schedule, a new routine, allowing yourself a little bit more time to do the things that are beloved to you. Or, you know, promising yourself that you'll have at least a moment in each day, you know, to kind of just be with yourself. For me, you know, having a young kid, and a lot of us have, right? Or if you've had, you know, taken care of somebody, or maybe had a job that was very demanding, or whatever it is, where your schedule is just packed and your, you know, your priorities are not always your own, right? And so, you know, I think that, with this, there is just a coming in and bringing it down a notch, right? Figuring out, like, what is the plan? What are we going to do? And I don't know, that mother energy, it's so, it is such a necessary archetype for us to have. I mean, these are our core archetypes, especially as we realize, you know, in our growth, that we have to be this for ourselves in a lot of ways, more often than maybe we even consider, right? And so, you know, I feel like we're on the road, right, to that Ten of Cups energy, which is one that would be most welcome. Okay, so over here I'm seeing a person who is sitting on a throne and kind of dumping, it almost looks like a cup out with a heart, right? And below I see this kind of maybe dog-headed or jackal-headed, maybe Anubis, maybe cloaked and sitting as well. We have, it looks like a pyramid with the dot in the middle, so almost kind of that capstone energy, illumination, completion, and now this is like a very Emperor vibe, not operating off of emotions, operating off of rational, logical, ruled just understandings, right? We hope that an emperor would follow laws, right? or things that have been set in stone. Now, there has to be some emotionality, hopefully, as well, but I almost feel like this is a sign of kind of letting go of those kind of really shifting emotions that you maybe have had, and allowing yourself to kind of, like we were just talking about, focus on the thing, focus on how you can change this. Now, we do have Anubis, so there's a sense of kind of going into that night side. Maybe this is kind of a call to dream work, to I feel like it's like a vision, like vision work, okay? And I put this together as Anubis being a psychopomp, but not only for death, but death of parts of self, death of eras of our being, going out into the night, right? And this, with this lunar energy, which is one of kind of the fantastical, to be kind of cloaked under the darkness of night, to be able to move freely. If you think about in the evening, or in the evening late at night, right? Everything is kind of closing down, and you don't expect people to call you or ask you of anything unless it's very important. So there is kind of a reprieve from these deep anxieties that kind of happen during the day, during business hours. And so I think of this kind of night side energy as really being able to let loose a little bit, let go of those fears, those anxieties, following a sense of the rational in the day, and at night letting yourself explore deeply into the unknown. Okay, and there needs to be this balance often. When we are in these periods of time where we are working, night and day, really, starting a business, trying to get, something done at school so that you can get your degree to do the things that you want to do, going for the position in the company, trying to find the work that is, suitable for you. All of these things, it takes a lot. You have to be very present in these moments of building up life, but we also need to offset that, right? And a lot of times I think that during these periods of high stress and dedication is when our dreams become really, really potent and vivid. And so this to me would be that that Anubis, going off with Anubis into the great unknown. And there is a lot of this, it is a duality. It almost seems like a bit of cognitive dissonance, but it makes sense because everything has to kind of happen parallel to each other so that it doesn't kind of just fall apart. And so then we have that kind of illumination, that capstone. And to me, that really is kind of an indicator of a key into another part of your story, okay? Kind of opening that door and deciding to walk through it. And this will be a time of fortune and prosperity. Will it be easy? No, right? It's not easy. This work is not easy. But it is worthy work, and you are doing it. And you are doing it. Now I wanted to look over here as well. Okay, so we do have, even above, we have that, is that, I'm looking, it is the Scorpion energy. Okay, so maybe a Scorpio energy in here. Maybe it is the Scorpion. Now we also have a 2. So I think seeing that above the head, it tells me that there is a sense of, at least in that work in the day side, proceeding with caution, okay? It may be in the evening as well. You know, the thing is that even when we are trying to balance these parts of our lives, we can get lost in either side of it very easily. You know, we see this in people who are really like not only devoted to their work, but they are almost like workaholics, right? It just becomes the only thing. They, you know, wake up thinking about it. They go to bed thinking about it. They dream about it. There's no reprieve. But on the other side, while we're trying to balance those stressful, busy times, and we are having these dreams, we're getting lost in fantasy, we start to partake in distractions. You know, immediately I was thinking of like video gaming, right? And then next thing you know, you're coming home from work, you're playing your video game, you're kind of being able to blow off some steam, and you know, you realize, okay, it's like 4 in the morning. I have to be up in like 2 or 3 hours, you know? And it does, we can get lost in that other part of trying to balance the day's work with that evening period of time. So to be aware, okay, so that you don't get stung, right? And that's what it comes down to. But we also do have that 2 in there. So I'm going to say that is, you know, just not exactly involved, but a 2 that it came up. Okay, so now we have, it looks like a lion right here. We have a person who is holding, and I almost imagine it's kind of, it looks like a loop, a ring possibly. We also have the cup up here, the Ace of Cups. So we have a bird. It looks like a dodo bird with a person maybe in its claws there. And we have a face. I keep looking at this face here. Look at these eyes and nose and mouth. So I feel like over here, it does, I almost feel like there is, maybe it's not a loop though. I mean, I'm thinking it's a ring. But it also kind of looks like, and I'm trying to think, what is that? Like a, not a turnip, but maybe like a, well, it could be a turnip, I guess, or a radish. But that isn't. Am I hungry? I'm gonna read it as the ring. Okay, so I do feel like there's a sense of maybe renewal in a relationship that is existing. Maybe you are married and there's almost a sense of like wanting to renew your vows soon. This could be that you are you're going to become engaged, or that there's some kind of promise here. Okay, with that Lion, I feel like there is a real deep sense of kind of a very powerful, again, the motherly energy, by the way, but a really powerful bond, kind of like a inviting into the tribe, right? Into the pride, I guess I should say. And the sense of kind of like the oath of we will never stray from one another, because when we go out there by ourselves, that's when, you know, nature does not, the nature of things does not provide well, right? There's a sense of this community in your life. Now, I say this as though it could be with another person. Again, a spouse, a beloved one, something like this. But it could also be that this is, you know, a unification of parts of self, and really coming to this place of putting yourself first, taking care of your needs, trying not to feel guilty about that, and really being quite devoted to self, more so than maybe any other time, right? We all hit this period sometime. I mean, it comes and goes as well, but we do hit a period in our lives for whatever reason. Usually it's kind of the shifting of elements in our life, different variables, the configuration, it looks different. And we have to decide, like, you know, nobody is going to save me. Nobody is going to live my life for me. I cannot live in the world of somebody else. I have to create my own meaning. I have to find my own way. And so, you know, there is a sense of having to decide, will I, you know, basically kind of marry myself? And this is the alchemical marriage, right? The joining of the sun and the moon to create the star. And so deciding, you know, this is of utmost importance to me. I am choosing myself. I'm choosing my path, and you know, I will become more and more empowered by that as I get further into it. And it's not as easy as it sounds, right? Especially for and I've said this a lot, is that I'm a Virgo, and I feel like Libra is very similar to Virgos, maybe a little less about self. Sorry, Virgos. I am a Virgo, so I am allowed to say that. But Libras, I think, are people who are definitely, you know, more selfless in a lot of ways. And so it can be hard, though, to choose yourself on a deep level, to be that parent for yourself, to be that beloved one for yourself, to be, you know, in a lot of ways your own spouse. And I don't, you know, it's hard to talk about this. It's hard to talk about it in terms that don't sound narcissistic, because of the way our society has kind of become about people who focus on their own interior things or their own life things. And yeah, of course, we can all overdo it. And, you know, I don't know exactly what makes somebody a narcissist for real, you know, that you could be diagnosed that way. But I do know that there is this trend towards really, you know, I guess it feels almost like, like rejecting self, right? Rejecting the idea that we are important. We are actually most central in our own lives. We are our own, you know, kind of galaxy, right? And we must do the work. We must do the work, and so it doesn't become something that is vile, right? So it doesn't become narcissism, this very superficial kind of coping mechanism. And so, you know, I feel there is this real, it could be, you know, that there's this real movement towards really kind of bestowing upon yourself the love that you can give to others. You know, I think that you do. And you do it so willingly. But when it comes to you, a lot of times it's like, I don't want to be so self-involved. I don't want to be, you know, narcissistic. I don't want to, you know, whatever it is. And, but really, you know, it comes down to, we think of it's a guilt, it's a shame, it's a, you know, but we do deserve the love that we desire from ourselves. You know, and that's nobody else's business, ultimately, in my book, right? And with that cup, I mean, it really is. Look at how big that thing is. There's a lot of love here. There's a lot of room for these emotional waters. And, you know, and this might really be that era for you, you know, really coming into a place of not only loving yourself, but being in love with yourself. And, you know, on this other side, we're talking about focusing on the logical, right? Figuring out how to do the things in your life that stress you out, not from an emotional place. And I think, I really do, that this movement towards love and self-love balances out that need to emote, right? Because you're putting your emotions into this work. And that's not a terrible thing, you know. I don't want to go on any tangent, but I really do believe so often, you know, we want to change so many things in the world, you know, because we're all creators and fixers and mother and father and grandma and grandpa and child and beloved and foe and all these, we are all the things, right? And we look around our outer world, or what we perceive to be the outer, and we want to fix, but, you know, so much of that is, I think, and it's not even about fixing, it's about communing with, really, these parts of self that need to be sat with, these parts of self that need to be known and processed and integrated. And if we spent the time to kind of work in these places, you know, to live by our own personal virtues, by our true will, by our authentic being, not only just live by it, but embrace it, the world would ultimately ripple into a better place. I mean, I do. You can't tell me any different. You just can't. And now, you know, this bird over here, I know we talked about it and I almost forgot about it, but we have the dodo bird up here. And the dodo bird is one that is extinct because I believe it was an easy prey animal. And it could have been, you know, because of humans. I don't know. I honestly could not tell you. But what I do feel like is this sense of almost like a person sleeping, but this bird over top. And it's not that something is leaving, but I do feel like it's like the resurrection of this almost forgotten aspect of self, this place within yourself that maybe felt like you lost it. Like you even maybe forgot it was even a thing. And I think a lot of times this is kind of our sense of wonder as children, our sense of self-exploration, or exploration in general, to be in awe, that feeling of genuinely thinking, my goodness, look at this. You know, look at the glory of this, all of this, you know, and not just thinking it, but feeling it from head to toe. Something that we don't even realize we've lost so much. You know, we think about it, yeah, I'm not as like, I don't daydream as much. I don't feel as excited about things. I don't, you know, this or that. But it seems like such a slow process that we don't realize how vast the difference is until we have that moment where it strikes us and, you know, you almost get like chills. I'll tell you, for me, something that kind of does this for me is, and it's just very specific, like it's not every time, but I live on the prairie, right? And there's a lot of tall grass in places, not everywhere, but some places, a lot of tall grass. And there are moments in the summer when the wind is blowing and you can't barely hear anything, and it's just blowing over the top of this grass, and you can see the waves like it was water. And when I feel that, I know that I am with God. I know that God is in everything. And it doesn't, you know, it does. I say God because I know this is a term that we all understand. The divine. Okay, something greater than myself, something so holy that I can feel it rushing around me. I can hear it rushing around me. It is in all things. Nothing can escape this divinity, right? And I'll have moments like this once in a while. And for some reason, it's the grass. It's like when I see that, I know God is here. You know, and having that moment, I think, my goodness, if I could feel like this more in my life, you know, I forgot what it felt like to just wonder, to bask in those moments of awe. So we strive, right? We strive for more of that. And the thing is, I think, anyways, let me tell you, I don't know really that much of anything, but when we go seeking it directly, it's hard to obtain. Oh, it's hard to obtain. But when we live a life in devotion of those virtues that are individual to each of us, then it's like it calls it in. It's like a sweet song that calls it in. And so that's what that says to me. That is that thing, that feeling. Okay, so we have a person here riding on a lion. You can see sitting here. And immediately I always mix it up. I always mix it up. And so if I am wrong about, I mix up if it's Lakshmi or Durga with the lion or the tiger. So I'm going to go ahead and say I think it's Durga. Either way, a mother energy, all right? That divine feminine, okay? So there is a power here, a creative energy, the holder of life. And so I believe this is a time for you to be manifesting. It is a time for you to be creating. It is a time for you to be absolutely just kind of lingering in these feelings of inspiration, of power, of, this... the consciousness of Sophia, right? Just one of wisdom, deep wisdom, understanding the knowledge, but the knowledge tested. Knowledge can look like one thing on paper, but you apply it. You check its functionality. You understand things about it that you can't just read. Okay? There is a sense of aliveness. Okay? In this journey from knowledge transmuting into wisdom, and that divine feminine energy, that consciousness, is the wisdom. And so, yes, I feel such a powerful, like, period of time here. Is it perfect? No. No. There's some, roadblocks. There are some issues here and there. Things have to be adjusted, tinkered with a little bit, right? How you do things. And, but I think, ultimately, there's just a profound, awakening. It's not even just the awakening. The awakening has been there. It's the verification, right? And then also the energy of not even needing that verification, because it's like, it just, you know through the wisdom, through your intuition. So you don't really need that verification. But there it is, right? Here it is. You knew. All right, let's see. We have this Indigo Sage affirmation cards. These are the air element. And I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to flip through here. We're going to stop where it feels right. Okay. And it says, alchemical, reframe, transform outcomes with more love and less seriousness. There we go. I guess, right? I love when the cards kind of relate to what we're talking about. All right. Libra, I want to tell you thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here with me. I'm sorry if this was kind of disjointed. In the back of my head, I'm thinking, my goodness, just this world. And I'm laughing because it's like, that's what I do, especially, I laugh a lot, but especially when I'm feeling scared, and I'll just be real, I feel scared right now. I just want to tell you I love you, and I'm not going to do my big spiel. I just, if you want to, subscribe or like the video or leave a comment, I would love that. And I hope you come back, and I hope some of this resonated with you, and I hope that you are safe and that you know that you are beloved, and yeah. All right. We're going to talk in a few days. Take care of yourself. Good night.